So hello and welcome to the 8th episode of the Boar Hat Tavern Podcast, a podcast all about 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. I'm your host, Daz, and I'm joined today by co-hosts of the podcast, Sandyy and Novage. Today, we've got a few things we're going to be talking about. The number one thing that we're going to be talking about today that everyone's excited about is Assault Mode Meliodas. We'll be going into him in detail and giving everyone our thoughts on, things like is he good, is he bad, should he pull, that kind of stuff. We're going to be going over the patch notes because along with Assault Meliodas also came the first Holy War Festival, so we got a lot of neat little things coming along this week, including Final Boss Escanor. We're going to finish up the show today by doing a little 20 questions segment. We did that several episodes back, and Sandyy, even though I don't think it was a competition, she's convinced that she won it, so we'll go with that. Sandyy, how was your week?
My week has been super awesome, but I do have something for those who are listening in, because if you're listening in, you didn't get to see our host here, Daz. He had a whole new look. Can you tell us about that, Daz? I mean, you got that 5 o'clock, that little stubble now, but...
It's coming back. I had a big, well, not burly beard, but big enough beard that was, I don't know if you want to call it a COVID beard, but I was just growing it out. And then I decided to chop it off last week. So I shaved it off last week and it's starting to grow back already, as you can see if you're watching it. But yeah, I don't know. Born and bred out of laziness, I guess, is the best way to put that one. But speaking of costume changes, Novage, you lost the competition last week. I haven't seen any posts on Instagram or in the forums of you wearing a Bon outfit. What's going on there, bud?
What I've been up to is actually working on that. So I am going to stick to losing on that match, and definitely I'm hoping in a week you guys will be able to see something. So I'm kind of educating myself on I guess in a sense cosplay outfits. It looks like a early Halloween costume I'm putting together.
Have you been working on your 12 pack of abs? Because apparently that's a pretty crucial part of the Bond costume.
Is it now?
You're smiling, huh? Because you're gonna be like, "Oh, I got Photoshop skills."
All right, let's move along to the show then. So let's start with the patch notes. Because like I said, we got quite the nice set of patch notes, which we get every other week now. And this is an on week, not an off week. Starting with Holy War Festival. That's the big thing that's going on right now. It's different than a traditional festival. If you go to the coin shop, you're going to notice Goddess Liz, your Lost Fame Meliodas, your Festival Kings, your the One Escanors. They aren't in there. A lot of people I know, including Novage, were saving those festival coins, kind of hoping they might be able to, spend them on the One Escanor this festival. But Holy War festivals are different than regular festivals, and it sounds like what the expectation is, and we've only had one Holy War festival on JP too, is that it's going to kind of alternate Holy War festival, regular festival, Holy War festival, regular festival. So the next thing we're going to get is going to be a festival with Lolly Merlin, and then I'll go back to a Holy War festival afterwards. Who knows who's going to be? Maybe it'll be a Zeldris or another commandment or something, which would be kind of cool. Probably to go along with the Holy War theme, right? Angels versus demons, or goddesses versus demons, I guess. So that's kind of neat, but just remember, this isn't actually a festival, and it seems like, I haven't got a confirmation on this yet, but I'm pretty sure that if you get dupes of Assault Mode Meliodas, and let's say you're wailing out on them, you get more than 6/6, I don't think you get festival tokens for that, just regular platinum coins by the looks of things. If you pop into the coin shop, you'll see there's nothing to spend those festival coins on now, so that'd be my presumption. So we've also got a new story chapter, a very highly anticipated one. It's the one with Assault Mode Meliodas versus the One Escanor. I should have said spoiler alert, I guess, but I kind of had a feeling that most people would already know about that, given the splash loading screen is those two having a staring contest of sorts while Escanor is twirling the mustache. Sandyy, excited for this chapter?
I sure am. I'm excited for a lot of the things. I mean, that I want more cosmetics for, the one. And yeah, I really like this chapter. I mean, it's nice to kind of see, the one versus Assault Melly. He's just like a world's difference. So super nice.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how that plays out, especially too because I feel like if you watch the anime on Netflix, you really like the animation is horrible. I almost feel like it's like much better in game than it is on Netflix. So it'll be cool to see how they kind of like roll with that and the quality of the animations and everything too, which will be neat. Seems like we might have lost Novage, which is kind of unfortunate timing because not only did I want to ask him about that, but also he was going to talk about the next thing. So maybe we'll wait. Hopefully he'll come back soon, but we'll skip over to the next thing we're going to talk about. Yeah, I love live shows. And the next thing we were going to talk about that didn't include Novage was Final Boss Escanor, because that's the next big hype thing that's coming. Sandy, you're the guild boss, final boss queen. You want to tell us about Final Boss Escanor?
Yeah, I'll do a quick overview because I know I have my research done for me because Daz here pulled another JP strat out of nowhere that I have to just kind of get acquainted with for those tryhards. But basically, if you have mono from the other banner that you already pulled, then you're set for the hard to play strat. That's going to net you, 6,000 points plus. It's an HP strat basically involving Green Gother, Green Liz, Mono, and Jillian. And that strat is honestly super easy. And I'm going to go into that with detail next week. And of course, I'm very interested because this Holy War Festival and them just dropping the cosmetics, I know I'm skipping ahead for like the commandments. Could we be seeing final boss commandments soon, like JP announced? So I'm very interested on that. And I want to ask you, Daz, I mean, what is this strategy that you're going to have me look into now?
So I don't want to take credit for anything because I was just happening to watch one of Seaton's videos this morning. He was, doing his normal thing, telling you like the 13 best teams you can think about potentially for running on Final Boss Escanor. And he had his extra sweaty strat. That's my really poorly done English accent, by the way. But anyways, which is a strat that I don't think many people are familiar with. So I went through and I watched the video that he linked, which is a JP video, and it actually has, everyone's like, okay, mono's made for this final boss, use mono at high points. It doesn't involve mono. It's almost a bit of a cheesy strat, but it also requires some very high investment in characters. I know Sandy's going to try it out, but I'll give like a little bit of a teaser as to like who's involved here. It's Goddess Liz, Red Melascula, Green Demon Meliodas, and the most common sub you've ever heard of, Rare Jude. That's right, Jude, for his passive, which reflects 10% of damage taken. So I'm not going to go into the details of it, but the ultimate idea is you kind of use Melascula's passive as well as Goddess Liz's revive to keep Green Demon Meli alive, because in the second phase, Escanor will hit him really hard, and if you have Goddess Liz's shield up plus Jude's passive, you'll reflect a butt ton of damage back on the guy, and it'll just slam and like one shot Escanor. So it's a challenging strategy because I believe it requires a little bit of luck with getting Liz shields to keep your characters alive, but also like Escanor hits hard, so just keeping her characters alive period requires a lot of like decent stats. So it's not the simplest strat, but definitely check out Seaton's video today or Sandy's video next week, which I'm sure she's going to be trying this as well to see how it goes. But it looks like on JP, that was actually the composition that was used to get the highest scores. And I don't think by any stretch it's required to get top 5% or even like top 1%. But if you want to get top 100, that's probably the composition that's going to be required. And I have no idea what the gear quality is required for it, but it sounds pretty crazy. So we got Novage back after a quick internet blip. So welcome back, Novage. We can cycle back to our discussion because we're going to talk about the new Hawk Pass system. And Novage has a JP account, not to mention he also hopped in quickly in game just a few minutes ago to kind of check to see what the English translations of a lot of these things were. So Nova, do you want to tell us a little bit about this Hawk Pass system and why it's new, shiny, and exciting?
Yeah. So when I first noticed it on JP, because I only have like an account that's like a month old, but it's already implemented there. And most people that are playing the game right now are kind of seeing it firsthand. But just to give an overview of what it is you're going to have a loyalty shop now, and you get loyalty points from doing missions on a daily and a weekly basis that kind of coexist with your Hawk Pass missions or your Hawk Pass or the level tier. So in a sense, roughly looking at the numbers of what you could probably get maybe about 500 a week of loyalty points. And so if you save up, I mean, if you look at some of the stuff there, they range from 900. These are the cosmetics, 900 to a little like 1100 points. So if you do the math quickly, you could probably get 2 cosmetics for a month in a sense. If it's a cosmetic, and some of them are reruns of what was already out there in the past. So if you missed out on it, you have a chance of getting it again. There are some new ones. If you guys saw the Lilia one that's on the shop at the top there, there's 3 cosmetics for her, I believe. There's the seashell or the clam, and like her, I guess like sun. It's like almost like the summer outfit for Lilia. So if that's something that you guys need or want in a sense for your cosmetic collection, there you go. But it seems that to wipe out the whole shop though, Daz and Sandy, I think yeah, they're trying to get you to renew your Hawk Pass almost 3 to 4 times in a row, because it actually gives you more loyalty points if you're renewing back to back. So it allows you to kind of being able to acquire more points. So therefore you have the luxury of being able to get more than one of the items in the shop. So that's actually tricky. So plan what you are shooting for very carefully.
Sounds like a bit of a double-edged sword. I mean, it sounds great for free to play, because if you didn't pay for the Hawk Pass, the rewards were very lackluster, and it's nice that you can actually get cosmetics as a free to play or someone who doesn't pay for the Hawk Pass on a regular basis. But then on the other hand, if you are the kind of person that was buying the Hawk Pass occasionally, now I feel like they're really trying to like hook you in to keep going. And it's unfortunate, but I mean, they're out to make money too, right? This seems like a new thing for the dolphins out there that are looking to find value. The recurring things, your weekly, your monthly diamond bundles. Now they got the Hawk Pass. It's going to be like perpetually going. So it kind of ups the amount of money I think though that level of player is spending, which is what I suspect they're kind of going for here, getting people into like the regular habit of paying on a monthly basis. Sandy, you going to be buying these Hawk Passes?
Yeah, I was super frustrated with the last one because I sort of disappeared from the game, and when I logged back on, the Hawk Pass was gone, so I didn't even get all my rewards.
Oh.
But yes, I will be, because is that a do-rag for the one? That's what I want.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I mean, it's nice being able to supplement those cosmetics just through something like this. And it is a cheaper way of acquiring them than like, straight up spending for gems. Like if you went and bought 30 gems, say, I mean, I guess it depends on how you go about purchasing them. It would cost you a lot more than just a Hawk Pass would. So I think it's neat. But yeah, the do-rag. Is that what you're going to be sporting on your with one Escanor from now on, Sandy? The do-rag?
Yeah, shirtless with a do-rag and his, Fortnite frying pan. Or PUBG, sorry.
we're getting a scary like vision into your fantasies here, Sandy. I'm not sure if I want to keep going down that path. So yeah, we also got some free Sariel and Ludo cosmetics. That's pretty cool too. I'm actually pretty excited about the Sariel cosmetic in particular, because there's only 4 weapon cosmetics out there, and if you want your Sariel to hit hard, which he already does, I mean, it's Sariel, but you can make me hit even harder by grabbing that extra 5th weapon cosmetic, which is cool. And there's also some stuff for Ludo, which honestly I didn't really look into too much. I was just too excited about the Sariel one. What's the Ludo cosmetic, Novage, that we're getting?
I don't. I don't know what it is, like what you call it, but he has like the little, what is it? The
Monocle?
single glass. Yeah, he has a monocle on, and I don't know what the theme is. I don't remember what it was, but I do know these cosmetics actually aren't from the Hawk Pass loyalty, so people don't get confused. This one's actually from the Hawk Awesome Card event, where there's the cards that he lays out, and you kind of just pick a card and it flips it over, and then you kind of eventually kind of just go through each tier and you get the rewards from it.
Good clarification, because I just realized I did not mention that at all. Funny story about monocles, though. My son recently went to the eye doctor, and he had to get glasses for the first time, but he only has a prescription in one eye. So he's one of those rare individuals who could actually get away with wearing a monocle. And he tends to like the villains of stories more than the heroes. And I was like, you know what? That's pretty appropriate. Now you can be that villain with the monocle for Halloween, buddy. So he was pretty excited, surprisingly, to have the option of having a monocle for his eyewear. Yeah, who knows? Anyways, I digress. So we've got a lucky box event too, right, Novage?
Yeah. So this is very similar to, I mean, a lot of you guys, if you've been playing for a while, the gumball machine where you guys pull either once or I think 3 times a day. This one's also limited to 3 times a day. So basically you do certain, I guess, missions or certain criteria. One of them is like checking in or whatnot, and you get these tickets, and then you use the tickets, and you get a box and you open it, and you have a chance of 1,000 diamonds. There's 20 people that are going to get those lucky diamonds, and good luck if you get that. And I'm sure that'll make anyone's day if they hit that number, or even 500 or 300. I mean, the top 3, you go from 20 people getting 1,000 to 50 getting 500, and 100 people getting 300. Those are pretty nice top tier rewards.
Yeah, don't hold your breath, though. I think most of the time you end up getting like 50,000 gold, or if you're lucky, even like a few gems. But yeah, did you guys get anything big last time around? I think I might have gotten like a 10 gem one I was pretty excited about, but I felt like that was even lucky in itself. Sandy, do you remember getting anything good last time we had this event? It was a while ago.
It was a while ago. Yeah, I remember getting like you said, the $50,000 coins, and I'm like, okay, I think I got a 50 gem one, and I was pretty excited about that.
That's pretty huge, actually.
Yeah, I remember I might have gotten one time of 10 gems, but here and there, 1 gem, 3 gems. If you get it, every day you got 3 chances. That adds up a little bit. You might get 1 multi by the end of the event.
Cross my fingers. It'd be great to like see someone that we know get that huge jackpot. That'd be cool, because there are 20 people out there, so they do exist apparently. So we also have some more new cosmetics, and again, I think Sandy was excited about a couple of these, right, Sandy?
Yeah, I'm always excited when they offer shirtless cosmetics.
I feel like there's a theme to today.
It is, yeah, you can't escape that. But yeah, so Galen, Gloxinia, Zeldris, Melascula, Fraudrin, they're all getting cosmetics. These do cost money, but after the end of the month, you can save up your gems and get them. There seems to be a theme going on. It looks kind of like Egyptian to me. Zeldris, of course, I have to get that. He's going to be shirtless. And then Fraudrin, I mean, that's giving me a lot of Demon Slayer vibes with the Tengu mask. And then Gloxinia with, that looks like an Egyptian hound to me. Melascula in her mummy outfit, and of course Galen. I love Galen, and I know our guildmate Kirito, he's probably gonna bank on that too. So that's fun. It's nice to see cosmetics not just for the 7 Deadly Sin characters, but for commandments as well. So I'm fairly excited that they added this. I've been waiting quite a long time just to change them out. I like to change my characters, sometimes just so they can match. And there seems to be a theme. I mean, Assault Melee, right? We'll go into that, but the toxicity, I can't say it. of commandments. Yeah, it's pretty exciting for me.
Yeah, they seem to be going all in on the commandment cosmetics, and also a bunch of the commandments got buffs too. So Sandy was alluding to it a second ago, but it seems like they really want to try and get people to go all in on an Assault Meliodas commandment team. And if you don't know why that's important, we're going to be talking about it very shortly when we talk about Assault Meliodas. But just referring to those buffs, Monspeet, Gallon, Gloxinia, and Melascula, all of which are commandments, they all got buffs to their basic stats, to some of their substats. Nothing huge, but enough to give them like a little bit of a nudge in the direction that makes them a little bit stronger and beefier in a lot of situations. So, when they usually would have died just by a hair, now they'll survive. Or maybe like when you survive just by a hair getting hit by one of these guys, you're now going to die by them. So it's small but important little buffs, and it's nice to see them give some lesser used characters these buffs, but they obviously want you to be running full commandment teams with Assault Meliodas. So Guild Wars, another thing that was on the patch notes, is getting a change this week. I know this doesn't affect a ton of people yet, because they are eventually opening up Guild Wars to everyone in some form or another. But now, instead of the top 32 teams, it's going to be the top 40 teams that make it into Guild Wars. And then also to go along with that, if you get into Guild Wars, they break you up into 4 guild kind of divisions. So if you win your division, you get like a buy. You don't have to like do the whole guild boss qualification thing again, and you get bumped up a division. So you get like a free pass into the next Guild Wars, which is really cool. One thing, and again, not many people listening, I'm sure, are in Guild Wars, but one problem that Guild Wars has had is that if you're really good at Guild Boss as a guild, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be good at Guild Wars itself. So there's a lot of disparity. Like the people in the top division, like generally they are pretty good at Guild Wars too, but they're not necessarily, right? So some people in the lower divisions, they might have really good Guild Wars guilds, but they don't have very good Guild Boss guilds. So there was a lot of disparity there. This will help level things out and bring certain guilds into the places they should probably be. But again, we won't spend much time on that because I know it doesn't affect very much of the player base, but it's still an exciting thing to open up the content, and hopefully they'll be opening up to more and more and more guilds, say every season too. So eventually we'll get to that point where maybe the top 100 guilds are going to be in geared Guild Wars, and everybody and their mother is going to be in ungeared Guild Wars, which will be great too, because it is really fun content. And the final thing on the patch notes before we move into our discussion about Assault Meliodas is there was a removal of one requirement to get that Tower of Trials title that we talk about, I feel like, almost every episode. The sub can't make it. So this is the Tower of Trials title where, if you knock off 5 or 6 different achievements, you get an extra boost to your HP food whenever you eat it. You get an extra 4% HP, I believe it is. So this was a notoriously difficult title to get, and they took one of the requirements away, which was the sub can't make it, where you had to use the same team from start to finish on Tower of Trials. Now, I mean, that's great. A lot of people probably have that done, but if you don't have to worry about it anymore because it's gone. You can get it without worrying about that one. So now, on to the important stuff. Well, I mean, I guess it's all important, but on to some more important stuff. Assault Mode Meliodas. So we're going to do, because everyone wants to hear about him, we're going to talk about his abilities, then we're going to open up to the floor. We're just going to chat about him a little bit. We're going to talk about teams that are good with Assault Meliodas. Maybe we'll talk about the banner a little bit too, and whether or not we're going to be pulling for him, or maybe for other characters on the banner too, because I guess we didn't really touch on that in the patch notes. But just going over his skills quickly, so everyone's on the level and knows what to expect and why they might potentially want to pull for this guy. His first skill is called 1,000 Divine Cuts. It's a rupture skill, which gives 2 times damage to enemies with buffs, equal to 100, 150, or 250% of his attack on all enemies. So it's an AoE rupture card. His second skill is called Dark Sword. It has amplify damage, which is plus 30% damage per buff on the hero. And it does 180, 270, or 450 of his attack percent to one enemy. So it's a single target amplified damage card. Very similar to Escanor's card, Red Escanor's. His passive, which is one of the things that makes him pretty cool, is if all allies are demons or those with commandments, so that includes your Gloxinias and Drolls, when allies take damage, it increases the stats by 5% to Assault Meliodas and decreases defense-related stats of all enemies by 15% for 2 turns. And this stacks up to 5 times. So if you attack anybody at all, as long as he's got a full commandment team or full demon team, you are making Assault Meliodas a lot stronger and yourself a lot weaker. More on that in a minute. His ultimate increases hero's basic stats by 50%, which is 3 buffs, defense, HP, attack, for 3 turns. And it also inflicts 350 to 525% of attack, depending on your alt level, on all enemies. So we've got Rupture, Amplify, Craziness, all commandments team. Novage, what are your first thoughts on Assault Meliodas?
My first initial thoughts was that I definitely want to try out the Blue Dairy with him. For one, I've had so much fun yet from last week and the week before of just, I got her out of luck a couple of times. So then I started using her in PvP. Then I had so much fun. I took her to Guild Wars. And I know that she pairs well with Assault Melee. And it seems that I think I kind of want to go this route more so than the route of the one, because, being able to, for one, utilize the passive Assault Melee. And if you come across another Assault Melee, she has the ability to remove buffs. So in a sense, you kind of, you'll be able to keep the damage on her rather than him. And of course she gets buffed when you attack her. I think the pairing of those two is going to be fun. It may not be the top pick as we're going to get into the other setups of teams, but I mean, his cards and his passives are it sounds so fun to kind of try out and test things, even in PvE content, right? I think, some of the stuff that you could utilize, be like, hey, you know what? Can you try them out on Guild Boss? Can you try them out on Final Bosses? What things can change now because he's able to kind of buff himself and if it stacks so much, it's kind of like a different strategy of stacking buffs than Dairy. But yeah, I'm excited to kind of hopefully pull and get him.
So Sandy, if you went to PvP and you see an Assault Meliodas on the other side, like, is there a general strategy that people should be employing here to play around Assault Meliodas? Because, he sounds like he can work up those buffs pretty easily. What would you do to counter this poor guy?
Yeah, I got to think about that. But first thing that comes to mind is just Estarossa, if if you're going to be needing your defense related stats down, I mean, you might as well get their attack related stats down with Estarossa's commandment. I don't know. Right now, I've been using the one counter. I've been using a different team. So I'm very excited to just see what Assault Melee does to the PvP playing field. For the one counter, I've been using Red Deanne Keo because nobody has healers anymore, right? So that's been my team. And I'm wondering, is that going to hold up against Assault Melee? Because if I pull him, if I get him, and you guys weren't here, but I did log on really quick about 10 minutes before the show, and I pulled. No luck. But I really want to test him out, with Red Zeldris, his commandment, with the attack related stats up with per what commandment on the team with Assault Meliodas. Oh my gosh. And I know we have Blue Droll we were talking about and Red Melascula. So I'm wondering what people are going to run. I'm wondering what's going to be a counter for him. And you might have to come back to me. I'm going to think hard on that.
Yeah, well, I think generally the accepted counter strategy to Assault Meliodas is just don't attack him until you can kill him, or attack anything for that matter, because it's not just attacking Assault Meliodas, it's attacking anybody on his team, assuming he's got a full commandments team going. So whenever you see it on JP, the current play around is you move your cards around, right, until you get ultimate, or you just use shield or buff cards or whatever, but you just don't touch the guy. And then once you get your ultimate, you just slam into him and his team as hard as he can. So it can be frustrating, but it is something I think that can be played around with, because as long as you're not attacking him, it does really gimp the Assault Meliodas strategy, which is one of the reasons that he's not one of the strongest characters out there. Maybe for the first week when people are trying to figure out how this character works, you might be able to fool some people, but I don't think it will last too long. I mean, we're talking about characters that work well with him too. Green Derriere is a good counter for that specific strategy, because Green Derriere's passive makes it so that the enemy, when they're moving cards, they don't actually gain ult gauge. So they can still get it with merges and such too, but this kind of gimps their ability to rush their ults, which is one thing that I think we're going to see a lot of, is not only the blue Derriere people like Novage who are running blue Derriere, but you'll see a lot of green Derrieres too. Some other good characters we've identified as well. One of the obvious ones is almost a must-have with Assault Meliodas is Blue Droll. And the reason for Blue Droll is because if you look at Meliodas' kit, he's got a Rupture card and an Amplify card. So you want to make sure there's buffs on the enemies as well as yourself. And Droll is literally the king of doing that. Anytime a character gets attacked, they get resistance buffs. So if you get attacked, not only are you getting buffs from your Assault Meliodas passive, you're also getting resistance buffs, which stack your Amplify card, but you're also giving the potential for hitting your Rupture card harder on the opponents. So you can hit them over and over, and even if they're not hitting you, and you can use that Rupture card, which hits really hard if you have any sort of stacks in Assault Meliodas, and those Rupture stacks on your enemies too. So he's got a really cool kit that works extraordinarily well with Droll. And I think the question usually is not if you're taking Droll or not, but who you're putting in that third slot. Is it going to be Green Derriere? Is it going to be Blue Derriere? Or what a lot of people are probably going to be running, Red Melascula. And Red Melascula is another good character for Assault Meliodas because of her passive. If someone dies, I mean, we mentioned before for using it for a cheese strat and final boss Escanor, he gets death protection. So let's say they do rush ult and they try and one-shot your Assault Meliodas. Well, guess what? He's going to live for 3 turns unless you can get rid of that buff, right? So you got to go for Melascula first. You got to get through that Droll taunt. It just complicates things. So having Melascula makes it a lot stronger. The only problem with Melascula is that she's a bit of a walking passive, so she doesn't bring as much more utility to the table. She can heal herself a little bit, but really she doesn't do too much. And then the other common thing I think we're going to see a lot of is Red Zeldris in the sub slot, just for his passive, giving you 6% stats boost for every commandment on the field. So you get a boost to that, not only for how many commandments you have on your team, but how many commandments are in the opposing team as well. So an extra nice little 12% stat boost at least to all your characters right off the hop. I think the general consensus with Assault Meliodas, though, is that maybe he's not the greatest character now, but he will get better later, because right now we're really restricted on how many commandments and demons are out there. If you look at the list of them, most of them are Meliodas's, which you can't use with Assault Meliodas, obviously. So you have to pick and choose from a very select list. So maybe once Festival Zeldris comes out, or who knows, like some of the new future units that are OP or broken, especially if they're festival units, I think we might see Assault Meliodas pick it up a notch. So we didn't really talk about his banner too, which I guess is a bit of an oversight on my part. There's a lot of good characters on this banner other than Assault Meliodas, and I think I've heard a lot of chatter of people wanting to pull on this banner, not for Assault Melee, but because of the other units on the banner. Novage, who's on the banner? Like, is there anyone that you particularly are hoping to get other than Assault Melee?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I'm aiming for Ludo. Ludicio is a unit that has evaded me for quite some time, even from the race draw. I had all these silver SR coins or R coins and traded them in for those tickets, and no luck with that. And the other angels are nice, in a sense for using them for a variety of things. Sario for the sub of trying to kind of push that guild boss score a little bit more, or even Tarmiel for just that heal. I mean, he's so useful in a lot of stuff as a sub, and of course having him a higher ult level, he gives more stats to your main character. So I mean, it's a shame that all the characters share the same percentage of the drop rate. But I mean, hoping to get a couple of those angels and at least one copy of Assault Meliodas.
Who are you looking for on the banner, Sandy? Is there any ones that when you pulled, because I know you've already pulled, you got happier when you pulled them as opposed to sadder?
Yeah, I got really happy when I hit the 600 mark. No Assault Melee, but I got in a latte. So, as you know, you needed a latte for Akumu. My latte has been 1/6 forever. And I was actually really happy to see her on this banner, and of course, like Novage said, any of the archangels would be super, super nice. But I think I'm going to have to go toward that 900 so I can get Assault Melee.
Yeah, it can be frustrating sometimes. I hate, you hear about people that say, oh yeah, I went one rotation, I 6/6 my festival character. I'm like, what? Who does that? I consider it a win if I get one other than the guaranteed one if you do 900 pulls or 900 pulls. Geez, I sure hope you get more than one if you do 900 pulls, 900 gems spent. But yeah, there's a lot of other characters too to be excited about too. Alate isn't one that I'm hoping for as well, Sandy. But we've also got Blue Droll, Red Gloxinia, Red Zeldris, Green Monspeed, Green Derriere, Green Esterosa. I mean, the list kind of goes on. A lot of these characters might not be meta units, but they definitely have their place, and getting their ult levels up can not only be good for associations, but for different content in the game. And one thing people are going to have to start thinking about too is once we get Ungeared Guild Wars, you're probably going to have a more diverse requirement of heroes that you're going to need to make the best use of it. Now, again, we don't know exactly what that content's going to look like, but I imagine having extra characters in your box is going to be important. Hey, what do you guys do generally? When you have this kind of banner, I know you get those platinum coins, you get those dupes, right? Do you spend your dupes on upping alt levels of even characters you might not be using now just because of maybe association or maybe future use? Or do you guys just hold on and hoard those in the those plat coins and maybe use them in the coin shop down the road? What do you guys do with your platinum coins? What do you think, Novage? What do you do?
I actually hold on to them, and it's kind of when that unit becomes useful, then I'm like, all right, I should probably use these coins. I guess early on when the information of Super Awakening came out, the big message was save your platinum coins, right? And stopped. I just started saving and I kind of stayed with that motto, in a sense, as you were saying, that some units become a little bit more useful when you have to set up X amount of teams for a Guild Wars, and as more players get involved in that when they unveil the ungeared version, which allows a lot more people to be involved, you kind of tend to start looking at the units that you didn't really pay attention to, but you're like, man, I kind of wish I saved those coins that I used to buy someone from the coin shop. So I kind of only use the coins that I've already kind of 6/6 for some units. But in a sense, I do get desperate and kind of all right, am I going to really use this, Fat King, I already have one that's already, kind of used for stuff, but do I really need this one? And a couple coins. And I was or another one is some of the bonds, I kind of all right, I don't have use for this one, so I'm going to go ahead and use these coins.
Funny thing, I was actually talking to a friend of the show today, and he was saying that Fat King can actually be one of the best associates in the game because he gives HP as his link to quite a few different heroes. So if you do have him 6/6, there's actually a solid use for Fat King. And I saw that message and I was did a head slap. I'm I probably could have had 6/6 Fat Kings if I didn't just laugh every time I got a coin and use it right away for Super Awakening or buying something out of the coin shop. I slowly have come to regret spending a lot of these platinum coins on characters that I probably could have had 6/6 and used as useful associate links now. So we've got Scrooge McNovage over there hoarding his coins. But Sandy, what do you do with yours? Do you spend them when you get them? Do you 6/6 your characters? Do you use them for Super Awakening? What do you do with yours?
I actually 6/6 them now, or I try to, because I made that noob mistake of just, I'll super awaken them, I'll pull them again. And I think one of the characters that I had 6/6 the coins of that I never upgraded was Death Pierce. And then of course I sold all his coins, and turns out he is the hardest man to get, and he is so useful and everything. And now I'm stuck at a 1/6 Death Pierce, and I'm like, I had like 8 of his coins, and I just used them. Now I'm not gonna make that mistake. I actually do upgrade them right away, so that I'm like, okay, at least that character's there. And I'm super late at getting my box up to that. I barely got it to the 4 mil mark. So I'm definitely using them right away. I'm not hoarding them anymore.
That's what I'm definitely doing now too. And now that we have so many Super Awakening coins coming in from Tower of Trials, Tower of Disaster, just dailies, like everything like that, like different events, I feel like you don't need platinum coins as much if you use them smartly. So I'm definitely on the boat with you, being like, I've regretted not feeding my dupes enough. That now I know better, because the Death Pierces of the world, right? Like same thing here. Like Death Pierce is meta relevant, right? As a sub slot unit for a lot of different teams, and he will be in the future as well. And having him 6/6 would be a very powerful combat class too, which is, the most important thing from the sub slot, is just give you some extra combat class as long as they're passive, because hopefully they're never going to pop out anyways. So I think I'm in Sandy's boat here. I just feed him right away. Then I don't have. I might regret it for a second, but then you just kind of forget about you limit your options, right? You take away that nugget that you could potentially dig into later on. All right. Anything else you guys want to say about Assault Mode Meliodas? So how deep are you both planning on pulling? And are you just pulling a 900? You saving those gems for later? I know Nova's just chasing his Ludociels. So are you just going to go until you get a Ludo?
I can't see a better chance, at least for my situation, to get that unit. I've tried. I mean, if I could count, I want to guess I've probably used maybe like over 50 of the race draw tickets. And I have easily, it's probably, that's just a quick guess, but it's probably more than that, a lot more than that. And, the pain of doing that, I'd rather just, let's go full force. And, if I pick up, the other angels on the way of getting Ludo, I'll be happy. I'll be happy if I get him and in the end, I don't get Assault Melee, because I kind of need that unit more than Assault Melee.
I can see the hurt in your eyes. I can hear the strain in your voice. I can tell that you're on the verge of the breaking point. So Netmarble, please give this man a Ludo. He just wants one copy. He's not greedy. Give him a Ludo, please. Sandy, how about you? How deep are you gonna go? I know you've already gone a little deep. How deep have you gone so far? You haven't gone one rotation yet, because I know you haven't got them. So what's your plan?
No, I'm in deep. I'm 630 gems in within the 5 minutes before showtime. So I'm gonna have to save up those gems again and get to that 900 mark. I got 12 SSRs, so it's not too shabby, but I really just wanted one copy of Assault Melee.
I know, it's frustrating. You always hope to get one before 900, but you can't expect it. All right, so we've got a featured comment, Sandy. You want to go over that?
Yeah, so in every show now, we're going to be doing a featured comment. And wherever you guys leave your comments for us, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, any reviews, we're going to be picking one comment and just giving you guys a shout out. This week's comment is from Damien from the Grand Cross forums, actually. And Damien said, "Awesome work you put into setting this up on a weekly basis. Have seen all the episodes. Even if long, always good entertainment and useful information. Keep up the good work, Daz, Novage, and Sandy. Always looking forward to your new videos. And then he gave us a little wink face. So winking right back at you, Damien. Thank you so much for leaving us that comment. And again, if you guys leave us a comment, one day you might be featured on the show.
We're humans too. We like pats on the back, but we're not always going to take the most patting on the back of comments. So feel free to be criticizing something that maybe be a question or trying to spur discussion, because we love those too. But every once in a while, we'll take the pat on the back one. Thanks, Damien. And now, what we do usually do at the end of the show is it's time for our game. We're going to go back and, by the way, if anyone has an idea of game ideas, like definitely toss them in the comments. However you can get a hold of us, let us know, because we're kind of getting fresh out of ideas, as you can probably tell, because we've been recycling them. We got 4 or 5 games on the rotation, but we're happy to put more in if we get good suggestions. So the game for today is 20 questions, and I don't recall Sandy winning, but she insists that she did last time, even though I'm pretty sure this is a team game. So the way the 20 questions work, if you've never played it before as a kid, you were deprived as a child, because it's a really fun game where one person thinks of something and then the other person or group of people have 20 questions, though we don't usually count, to try and guess what that thing is. They have to ask questions. They have to be yes or no questions, or as close as you can get to a yes or no question. And they just have to try and narrow the field down until they actually guess what it is. So I'm going to make it easier this time, because I'm notoriously bad at making these things a little too difficult. I've got 3 categories. Person, and I use the term loosely, so just living thing, so a person or living thing, a place, or a thing, and thing being a non-living inanimate object. So Sandy, since you won last time, I'll let you pick which category we start with, and then you guys can start asking me the questions. So which would you like to pick? Person, place, or thing?
Let's do a person.
Okay. And just to clarify again, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a person. It's just a living thing. So, Novage, start narrowing it down with your first question, my friend.
Is it a male?
No.
Is it an animal?
Yes. See, you've already done a really good job of narrowing it down. But it's still very difficult, because there's so many non-animals in the game that you think that would make it a little bit easier. And by the way, these are 70S themed, so it's going to be something in the 70S that's unique to the 70S universe. So, Novage, what do you think the next question should be here?
Is it hawk?
No. Nice try there, Novage. I think Sandy still is winning, even though that's a hard thing to measure. Her questions have been better so far, even though she's only had one. Sandy, what's your next one?
Is it a demon?
No.
Just to clarify, when she asked if it was an animal, you said yes, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wouldn't consider like a goddess or a giant or a demon an animal, just to kind of clarify. But I mean, like all these things, that's the problem with 20 questions. They're rarely yes or no, like black and white. There's always like kind of gray ground or very misleading answers, right? I'll try and clarify where I can. But yeah, it's clearly an animal.
Is it Oslo?
No. Good guess though. Good guess. I'm actually really glad I picked what I did, because I think Oslo or hawk would have been a little too easy.
Can it fly?
Yes. Oh, I feel like you're getting so close, Novage. Sandy, did that help narrow it down at all?
I'm having a brain fart. Oh my gosh.
So it can fly.
Is it a chicken? Is it the chickens we fight in the special event dungeons?
No, that is like hyper specific. It's much more generic than that. So it can fly. It's an animal. Some things have deadly sins. Novage, I feel like you're close. I feel like you might got it. I saw that light shine in your eye there.
Is it Hawk's mom?
It is Hawk's mom. Hawk was close, but I can't give it a Hawk because Hawk and Hawk's mom are definitely different. So,
man.
So Sandy, not that anyone's keeping score, but Nova just got 1, you got 0. I'm assuming that's how this works. Okay.
I thought you were leading towards us to the parrot from Meliodas when he was in the previous life with Danafor Liz.
Oh, wow.
Parrot, whatever, I forget what it was called. It wasn't called Hawk. It was called something else.
I learned from many a trivia /20 question episodes that we've done so far, you cannot get that specific and assume that everyone's going to know the answer. So yeah, Hawk's mom, I figured, you know what? It's in our logo. It's literally on the screen right now. So hopefully you guys would get to that sooner rather than later. And you did. You did a great job. I think it was only like 7 or 8 questions at most. Okay, so Novage, we've still got place and thing left. Would you like to take one or the other? Spoiler alert, we're probably going to do all 3 anyways.
Let's go with thing.
Thing. Okay, so this is an inanimate, non-living object. Novage, you want to start it off, or Sandy, you want to take the first question?
Is it a weapon?
No. You remembered last time. We did weapon. Not this time, though. Yeah, what else is there in 7 since the only inanimate objects are weapons, right? Nope. Turns out there's other ones. No, do you have any questions to help narrow this down? Narrow the field? You've removed like 99% of the stuff.
Yeah. Is it a face accessory?
A face accessory? No. No, it's not. It's one of those things that you can kind of laugh at when you know what the thing is, but I think it'd be misleading to say it was a face accessory.
Is it food?
Yes.
Okay.
That's see Sandy, you just tee up Novage with your questions. I feel like if it was just Novage, he'd be here all day. But Sandy, you get those shredded down, hyper focused. But Novage, can you put it home though? Did she tee up? You don't have to guess it. You can just narrow it down. Of course, that does put you at the risk of letting Sandy guess it.
Is it a food item from the Boar Hat?
Yes, but probably not in the way you think. Okay, Sandy. How are you going to take that cryptic response and run with it?
Is it... I'm going to try to guess it. Is it Vanya Ale?
It is Vanya Ale. Holy crap. That was really impressive. I thought you were going to guess like some random like chicken and rice, like crit food or something. But yeah, that's what I was worried.
Went straight to beer. Yeah,
I was worried, Novage, when you said that. Like, is it that's what we were thinking? And that's not the way I wanted you to go because it's like a drink, right? You still get the Vanya Ale, right? From the little tavern, like little cask in the corner. So, okay. Well, guess what? You both have guessed one. So we're going to go to the place. So Sandy, why don't you get started here?
It's a place, right?
It's a place.
Okay. Is it in chapters 1 through 5?
No. You had me worried when you were going to throw out chapter references, but I think it's clearly not in chapters 1 through 5 in the game.
Is it a city?
No.
Is it the knighthood?
Nope. This is actually probably the hardest of the bunch. So it's not an immediately obvious answer.
Is it where the 10 Commandments were trapped?
Yes.
I'm giving her that one.
Where was it? Oh no. I'm brain farting again.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Novage, you come with the steal here, or Sandy, you giving up yet?
where the 10 Commandments were sealed. Oh, Sandy.
Oh, Sandy. Go back and watch your anime. Read the manga. Come on. You're supposed to be an expert at this stuff.
I know.
Okay,
I'm gonna have to
Novage,
pass.
I think we're gonna give it to you here, bud. Where the 10 Commandments trapped? I hope I'm not remembering this wrong, but anyways, I guess we'll get lots of comments if I'm incorrect.
Yeah, of course, right? Yeah. Is it do they refer to it as purgatory?
That's what I was going for. So you know what? Even if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure they were sealed in purgatory. But either way, that's what I was going for. It's like the home of the demon realm, right? Purgatory. So looks like Sandy, even though we weren't supposed to be keeping track of winners, you lost. Sorry. Hate to say
It's
it.
a team.
It is. Suddenly it's a team game now, is it?
Yeah.
That's how 20 questions is supposed to work, but the competitive nature of Sandyy and Novage leads it to be a competitive game. And on that note, I think we're going to end the show. Thank you for joining us today at the Boar Hat Tavern, a 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross podcast. We stream the show live on Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Boar Hat Tavern, every week on Monday nights at 9:30 p.m. Pacific time, right after in-game maintenance typically starts. Sandy, I've seen some videos pop up on KLAC on your channel recently. You want to tell people about where they can find your channel and this content that you create?
Yes, please. Go to youtube.com/ you can write me Sandy. That's with a double Y 7DS.
Great stuff there. Definitely go there. Smash that subscribe button. Hit those up arrows or whatever you do. But if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can email us anytime at podcast@boarhattavern.com. We do take listener questions and stuff too. So if you have any questions, you can shoot us an email, or you can follow us on Instagram or Twitter, or DM us there too at Boar Hat Tavern. All three of us were members of the global guild Denied. It's part of the Scoundrels Alliance. If you'd like to join our ranks, you can reach out to us on Instagram, Twitter, or even just send us an email. We'll get in touch with you and give you the contact information to get into our guild. If you can subscribe to us also on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you happen to find your shows, we're probably there too. And if we aren't, let us know. We'll try and figure out a way to get on that different medium. You can also find our shows on our website, which I like to make fun of, and Sandy is on a mission to rectify, boarhattavern.com, the worst website in existence. Like I said, Sandy's been talking about a lot last week, so I think we've got some momentum, and things might actually be changing on the poor boarhattavern.com. I think I visited it twice, and I am embarrassed every time I type it into the browser. So if you feel like you're brave and you want to check it out, boarhattavern.com, you can see all our shows there. We'd also like to thank a couple people. Madeline Marois for crafting our killer logo, Streetwise Rhapsody from YouTube for composing our awesome cover of the Grand Cross theme song that we use for our intro, and Andre Bobe from ArtStation for letting us use his outstanding 3D renders of the Boar Hat Tavern for our pre-live and post-video splash screens. You can find all of their work at their websites that should be in the description of wherever you're looking or listening to this. Everybody, thanks for listening. Have a great week.
Bye.